Laverna Chambers, Becca Bailey, Jake Russman, Jessica Ryan,
Here.
Max Russman,
Here.
Richard Carter,
Here.
Mayor McKinley,
Here.
Vicky Wilder,
Present.
and I'm present.
Okay, so we're gonna do the pledge of allegiance. We were told there was a flag here, but we don't have one, so we're just gonna stand and say the pledge. I guess you're, pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
everybody. Okay, approval of minutes from the August, September, and October meetings.
I move that we accept the minutes as submitted.
Second, please.
Neither one of us can. I have to abstain. I wasn't here in August. Right? Isn't that right? I have to
Right.
abstain from the, because I wasn't here to know what the meeting minutes were.
So I think we have to do them separately.
You'll have to do them separately, and then I can do the September, October, and
Let's approve the August meeting.
But you can't, because you don't have,
We
they
don't,
weren't here.
they weren't here, so we'll do September then.
Jake, I thought Max was here.
Were you here in August?
Here, I'll look. Yes, you were.
No, second.
So, Rick, if you would, make a motion to accept the August meeting minutes.
I move that we accept the minutes of the August meeting as submitted. I'll second that.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Jessica Ryan,
abstain.
Becca Bailey, Jake Russman, Laverna Chambers, Max Russman,
Yes.
Richard Carter,
Yes.
and then now we need a motion to accept the September and October minutes.
I'll make a motion.
There's still
to
minutes
accept
we had to-
September and October meeting minutes.
Trust me.
Second, please.
I second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Richard Carter,
Yes.
Max Russman,
Abstain.
Laverna Chambers, Jake Russman, Becca Bailey, Jessica Ryan.
Yes.
Thank you. Financial, approval of bills payable for August.
I think you can do them all at once, because it's just good. It's not.
September and October. Anybody have any questions about that?
Most of them, you guys are pretty standard, just that concrete. Like the big one in September. For, and it's only October report.
I move that we accept the bills payable as submitted. I'll second that.
Max seconds, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Jessica Ryan,
Yes.
Becca Bailey, Laverna Chambers, Max Russman,
Yes.
Jake Russman, Richard Carter,
Yes.
financial reports from August, September, and October. If you wanna go through that with us, or?
Yeah, I mean, I can just kind of summarize. The main thing is, and I know a couple of you weren't here last month and we didn't have the meeting, but I did know when I sent it over that September looks like we had no funds. We just received them on the 30th, so there's no point in depositing on the 30th. So when you look at the report for this month, that is pretty much reflective of the 2 months. So, other than that, we're getting our money. I was very, very concerned about some of our funds going low, but it really, I mean, we may be per month between $5,000 and $1,000 lower on like the sales tax revenue and stuff, but we haven't been hit near as hard as I thought, at least at this point.
So do we need a motion on that?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And that was on
Financial reports.
Financial report for August, September, and October.
I move that we accept the financial report as submitted.
Second, please.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Jake Russman, Richard Carter,
Yes.
Max Russman,
Yes.
Laverna Chambers, Becca Bailey, Jessica Ryan.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you. And report from the village officers, maintenance, village treasurer.
I have a couple things. Okay. So the first one is, the building fund and the park fund, they are giving us dormant fees. I've reached out to Hyde Missouri Growth starting in February of this year regarding the fact that we weren't getting interest. Have not got a response. Jen and I kind of tag teamed her boss. She did finally get back to me. I did get a response today, and her answer is they're not refunding our $5 on those dormant fees because they send out a thing for us to sign requesting that we don't get those fees. I've never gotten them in my email where we get like, your statement is not ready. Haven't gotten anything from the hall. And I know it's just $5 per account, but I'm still pushing them to refund that. It makes no sense. And she is suggesting that, I think it's insulting, but that our percentage rate on those accounts are 0.01% interest. So at this point, I'm gonna leave it up to the board to decide, but I really think we should start looking around to see if somebody offers a better rate. I haven't been happy for a while, like when I've been trying to reach out since February and called, emailed, left messages, and we are in November, and I'm just getting a call over the weekend. I don't think that's good bank business. It's convenient because Heartland's here, but maybe we should just look around and see. She also did say, remember I brought up before about paying off our loan early. She did tell me today we could pay that loan off early and not incur any penalty. I did not look up how much interest that would save us. I'm thinking a couple $100 if we paid it off this year. It's definitely something to think about, and I would, once I find a dollar amount, I'll see if it's worth putting on the agenda for next month, because December is the month that payment pulls. And we're currently at 22,000, and we pay like 11,000, so there's one more year left.
So somewhere in here, and now I can't find it. Excuse me, the amount of building funds, is that right?
Yeah, so this is, they're charging us this very last one that I just put out, it says,
That's not my question.
Oh.
My simple question is there some places that put that with money market account or something, or we get some interest?
that's what I'm thinking.
That's what, yeah.
So she's saying, like, right now, like, our big fund, like, we have the big fund, and then I have the smaller fund that I pay the checks out of. That's also only drawing 0.01% interest.
I thought that was in a money market deal.
The public fund is the money market. It's a super money market.
What is?
The public fund, the one that has the 121,
Yeah, so how much interest does that mean?
like $1.31 a month approximately.
It was,
And I got the bank statement here, I can tell you.
That, no, I don't need the exact figure, it's not much.
Yeah, it's not, so I do think that there's something better we could be doing to, And I mean, I just wanna, it sounds like, Rick, that you're for looking into something different to get a little bit of money, is that correct? I'm not gonna switch anything, I just wanna start looking into what we could
Well, I
get,
think a certificate of deposit would pay more than that,
yeah.
Right.
you know, nothing else. So,
Okay.
yeah,
And depending on if you want it tied up long-term or short-term, depends on what you look for.
Yeah,
I mean, you can do a CD for 1, 2, 5, 10, you know,
that's what I think. I mean, I think
years.
based on our expenditures, we could put at least half of that public fund in something that generates a bigger return than $15 a year, basically.
the one thing that would worry me about that is that should we get the opportunity somehow or other to come up with some,
To get a new building,
yeah,
Yeah.
some funds from somewhere, that I would hate to see that tied up where you could, of course, you could still get it, there'll just be a penalty involved,
Okay.
I'm sure.
I'll get the details for the next meeting and come up with some options and see what you guys think. See, I might have one more thing. The other thing's on the agenda for later, I just want somebody to tell me it's okay to reimburse our park. We paid that $11,000 out of the general fund, and that was money that was from the park, the park fund. I need to transfer money back from the park fund to reimburse our general fund. And I think that's what the intention there was, but I just wanna make sure.
Anything else, Vicky?
The last thing is, along investigating things, we are nearing the end of the year. I know, Rick, you had said when I first started, you wanted to see how we did with the current software we have. I think I'm doing a fine job with the 941s and the taxes, I'm fine with that. But our Medla software, between the AP and the payroll, does not talk to each other. So I am going to, unless somebody's strictly objecting, I'm gonna switch to a QuickBooks trial for 3 months for $25 a month and see if I can get a report that's better than 17 different reports. The other thing with Medlin is if that computer crashes, even though we're doing backups, we've lost everything.
There's
So
no-
I do a backup once every like 3 or 4 months. If it crashes and it's been 3 months since I've done one, we lose 3 months of data. QuickBooks is online. There's no chance, I mean, I guess there is a chance of it being hacked or something like that, but it's much easier to retrieve information. And I don't think for 3 months of $75, that if we end up being out that because it doesn't work is a terrible loss. It's a loss, but it's not terrible.
That's something we'll have to put on the agenda, right? If we approve for getting that for the $25 a month.
Typically, I mean, I know before there's like, we could spend $50 without board approval, but because it's 3 months, that's why I'm saying, kinda crosses that, and it doesn't cross it per month, but it does cross my uncomfortable level of just saying, yeah, I'm gonna do this. And we
But-
can put it on the agenda for next month, I'm fine with that.
Medlin has no cloud-based backup. So, let's just say the zip drive and the computer
Get a virus.
get stolen or burn in a fire or thrown in a ditch or something, they're gone forever.
So what are you asking for?
I want to know that if it's okay for me basically to spend $75 of village money for it, yeah,
QuickBooks has backup on it, doesn't it?
yeah, it's cloud-based.
The online subscription would be cloud-based, and that would, the next treasurer or whoever would always have, it would be continual.
I have one more question, is that strictly a monthly thing, or is there?
If we continued on, it would be $25 a month going on.
To start off with $75.
Yeah, so it is, but they're running a deal right now, which is, I've been watching it. And they're running a deal right now where you can get it super cheap without that initial $75 startup. It's just the monthly,
25.
which is the 25. And we pay $65 a year for the AP software, and then we pay $75 to Medlin. So on the math on that, we'd be doubling our yearly cost for technology. if we continued on after the 3 months.
Yeah, bring us the whole, package next month.
Okay.
And,
Okay, that's fine.
All right, anything else, Vicki?
No, I think I'm good.
Clerk?
You're next.
Oh, I was just writing a note, sorry. Okay, our great election is tomorrow, however, our consolidated election is in April. And I need to announce there are 3 seats up for re-election, and that is Max, Richard, and Jessica.
If anybody needs a notary, because Jen's is backed up because the state's backed up, just reach out to me. I'm happy to notarize. I have a notary through my work.
Anything else?
Have you talked to the attorney lately? I do want to bring up that I would like you guys to start paying attention to our legal line. We are paying a lot of money out to that attorney, and at the rate we're going right now, we're not gonna have enough money left in the budget by the end of the year. We went through we budgeted 5,000, and I just paid some that are gonna go on next month's stuff because I just got it. And we're down to, we budgeted 5 and we've used half of it already. Donnie, have you
The
talked?
remaining balance is 3155.97.
I just got bills in yesterday that she signed tonight, that is another $350 worth of bills. So we've used about half.
And our year's not up yet until May.
And our year's not up until May. Are we doing anything to recoup any of that? Like, do we have anything on Village? Like, I know Duffy's been a problem. We've been to court. Is there a way for us to bill him for our attorney costs to get a recoup on that? And if there's not, can we come up with an ordinance that allows us to do that?
For attorney fees, you can make all the ordinances you want, but we don't have the way to enforce them, so.
Okay, now I'm gonna get a little abrasive. So we're just gonna call the attorney on the guys that are burning and not getting permits and have junk stuff. And we're gonna keep incurring those costs and not try to recoup any of them? Just because we know they're not gonna pay them?
Well, so the only time I've contacted the attorney is when I've had complaints.
I know, and I don't think you're wrong. I just think that, like, based on the amount of money we're spending, I know that there's gotta be a way to at least attempt to recoup some of that debt from those people that are continually not doing what they're supposed to do. They should be incurring some kind of fine from the village or a bill to reimburse for legal fees. It's a lot of money we're putting out, and I mean, we currently, I believe it's $175 an hour we pay our attorney. Is that the going rate of an attorney?
It's actually cheap.
Very cheap.
Okay.
Sorry.
It just financially sound for me to ask those questions as treasurer, like, we need to, like, I'm not saying we need a curb, because we do need to contact him, but also I think that if we're taking somebody to court, they should bear some kind of responsibility for fees.
Well, if you're taking somebody to court, the judge can order that.
Okay.
That would be
Can we
something
ask for that, like,
to
with the attorney, don't you think? Like, hey,
Well,
when,
Our attorney should be doing
Right.
that.
Right, that's the attorney's job, that's what we're paying them for.
I mean, if they're actually taking someone to court, the attorney should be asking for.
has he been in court
So-
with Duffy at this point, or was it postponed because of COVID?
No, well, it was postponed due to COVID, although he's cleaned up the mess now, so we can drop the case.
I think that's part of doing business is you're gonna have attorney fees. I mean, unless you take them to court or unless you get them an ordinance that's just part of doing business. I mean, so, but he's correct. If an attorney's taking a matter to court, that's something that our attorney should be asking for restitution for us, for his attorney fees.
That should just be a natural practice, but as far as just writing letters or that sort of thing, I don't know how we can expect somebody to pay.
Well, and I understand that. I think a lot of the fee, I believe on the big one that I saw was, did he go to court one time, Donnie, and then it was postponed or something? Because we've got one bill where he actually went over there, I know there is. Is that
I went
correct?
over there to file something.
I think it was the actual hearing, I think Debbie
It
didn't
still
show.
doesn't matter, if there, you can't charge somebody attorney fees if there's no judgment against it.
Right.
So if we drop follow-up on it, there's no way you can expect him to have to pay fees.
Okay,
I mean, so I suppose the attorney could, when they write their letter, if you're willing to pay my fees, will drop the case against you, but
It's not really-
that's almost blackmail.
that's not, and I'm not asking for that, I'm just saying, like, if we're in on Duffy fees for like $1,000 and we've written letters and we've taken it to court, and then he suddenly finally does what he does, I do agree that's the cost of doing business. It's the cost of getting something cleaned up, but,
So when it applies, Vicki, we've recovered, when we've dealt with the Gentlemen's Club, we've recovered. a lot of
fees at
our
that point,
fees.
okay.
But it wasn't, feasible in the Duffy case.
And that's fine, I just wanted to
And
be
that-
clear on that, just so we know where we're at.
Kinda forgot about that. That brings up a whole different issue. Technically, those probably should be put back into the budget. Those fees that were reimbursed by the Gentlemen's Club. Cause they were paid out by us, but they were never put back into the budget under that line item. It was more of brought in just as income.
Is that what's partially depleted from this year?
No.
That's what, not this year?
Not this year, I don't see
Okay.
anything from the
Then
general
we'll,
stuff this year.
it's probably last year then, but I can look back. But I just, checks and balances just click that if we paid them out to the attorney and then the Cabana or Kappa Men's Club paid us, we took it as income. I don't know that it was adjusted on, to go back into the,
Okay. I'm done, I wanted clarification on how we're working that, because it just seemed like we went from not spending a lot on the attorney to a whole lot really quickly, so.
our men's club.
I'll be quiet.
Do you understand though?
Mhm.
Maybe we have more.
Can we move on?
Yes,
As far as the mayor goes, we're still, working on the tornado siren with the insurance company. Filed a claim. Seems like maybe there's some kind of hope that the insurance company's gonna cover it, so. And, that would be it on that. So items for consideration, possible action, review the ordinance regarding cable fiber, discuss possible action. So, the, gentleman that gave us the ordinance that he wanted us to, pass so we could do the fiber optic stuff. Turned that over to our attorney. She said there was lacking some things that would cover us. There was no compensation for the village. We can charge a 5% on the gross receipts for the cable service. They're not bonded. And then also on top of, so he's working on an ordinance that will cover the village.
Can I interrupt you a second?
Sure.
All I know for sure that there was a guy that was gonna talk to us, so what's the whole deal with this?
Well, so he was at the last meeting, but we couldn't have him.
Right, that's what I'm getting at, so I never, that's as far as I got, so what?
So what they wanna put in, they wanna run, fiber optic cable through the village and into the village. And, evidently they've done it in El Paso, the golf course, Hudson.
But is it through Consolidated, or is this a different company, or what is it?
I don't remember the name of the company.
Midwest something. I don't,
What, Jen?
I would have to look it up. It's Midwest something.
Midwest, yeah.
But it's another company other than Consolidated, so they would be in competition.
I don't think it was Consolidated.
Well, so my point being, or that I'm trying to figure out, is they would be in competition with Consolidated, correct?
I really don't know how it all works. I don't know.
Do we have consolidated fiber through Kappa now?
No, not
They don't
mine.
have, we don't have fiber, but we have,
That's poor service, that's why I would welcome just about
Yeah.
anything. But I thought that, like Consolidated had a area carved out where other companies would come in, but I don't know that for sure.
I'll look it up.
I'm not sure.
There's a website that shows fiber that runs through different counties.
So also, on top of, what the attorney advised that we should be doing, make sure the village is protected. I've also heard just the other day that company that wants to come through the village of Kappa is in the process of being sold or bought, so, I'm not sure how that would affect us either, so. But, I think if, you know, like I said, Steve's working on that ordinance, writing that up in a way that's gonna protect the village, and so that we can get compensated the way any other village would or city would.
do you know how that works, the compensation for the village? Does it come from the company? Does it come from each
I have no
subscriber?
idea. But I also noticed that, they were really rammy in the beginning, wanted to get it in like right now. And now that they've had to wait, we've contacted our attorney, I haven't heard a word from the guy, so. I don't know, I just don't know much about it, so. The attorney's writing it up, and we'll have it here to look at next month. Anything else on that? All right, so on the next thing, action to vote to approve the 2020 TL ordinance, an ordinance for the levy and assessment of taxes for the fiscal year January 1st, 2020, and then April 30th, 2021, the village of Kappa, River County, Ohio.
That basically, you guys, is a regurgitation of your budget that was approved earlier this year. It's just a requirement.
We just need to accept that ordinance. Correct, Jim?
Correct. Just needs to be filed with the county before December 1st.
We've done everything for our
Right. Well, not qu-
Accept the ordinance approving the budget for the village of Kappa for fiscal year 2020 through 2021.
Roll call, please.
Max Russman,
Yes.
Richard Carter,
Yes.
Roverna Chambers, Jessica Ryan,
Yes.
Becca Bailey, Jake Russman.
And on the back, action to vote to approve the 2020-6 ordinance, an ordinance approving the budget for the village of Kappa in fiscal year 2020-2021.
This one was supposed to be approved way back when, but we've yet to have a quorum, so this is actually overdue. We never got it.
But again, it's just a budget that we already
Yeah.
passed. We just need to approve the ordinance for it.
Right, we've approved the budget, it's just the ordinance, and it should have been in August packet. You guys are looking back.
I will make a motion to approve the budget for the village of Cappa for fiscal year 2020-2021.
Thank you. A second, please.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Jake Ressman, Becca Bailey, Jessica Ryan,
Yes.
Richard Carter,
Yes.
Max Ressman,
Yes.
Laverna Chambers,
Discussion and possible action regarding mulch in the park for the spring. I would like, I think probably we've already done this, but I want permission to go ahead and get new mulch for the park. We can do that. Do you remember how much it was last time? Rick?
I believe it was right around $1,000 per, which is taking, so.
And then that will obviously come out of the park fund. So, somebody make a motion that I can order that in and it'll be here before spring. Please.
I make a motion that we can buy more mulch for the park.
with the max amount of 1,000.
Well, I don't know if it'll
No.
be less than 1,000.
We don't wanna lock in. Yeah, cause I know that price, that was roughly off the top of my head.
We don't need to put down.
Okay, I just need to write it out what we're saying, so, okay.
Can we do like maybe not to exceed $2,500?
Okay.
That's it, too. Not to exceed $2,500.
In a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Laverna Chambers, Jake Ressman, Richard Carter,
Yes.
Max Ressman,
Yes.
Jessica Ryan,
Yes.
Becca Bailey.
And then discussion and possible action regarding the next park project. Did anybody have any plans or ideas for the next project we need to be doing in the park? We've had discussion of pavilions, monkey bars, roller coasters.
What kind of money do we have in there?
Swimming pool?
That's what Olivia told me to bring that up. Not getting this swim.
Probably not with our budget.
We don't like monkeys in our park.
The,
29,000.
what am I looking for? Park fund is
No,
not just shy of 19,000.
no, it's not.
No, we gotta take 11,000 out.
11,500 out, and you're
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about another $2,000 on mulch too, so there might be 4,000 or 5,000 left after that.
Okay.
Would you have to take the mulch from the park fund? Could we, I mean, we can, but if you guys want a bigger project, mulch could get paid for
No, we'll just take it out of. We'll
streets
just-
and ditches.
We'll just do park projects as we have the money. We'll do the mulch and then,
Is something we can look into and discuss next meeting?
May we'll be putting in, what's the annual amount we put in the park fund again?
Around 6,000 was what you guys told me, but I'm looking at minutes and that's about what I see.
6,000 a year.
Yeah,
Alright.
that's one thing I think that we need to clean up, like, we need something that says, this is how much we're going in the park fund, this is how much that goes in the building fund. I don't know if it needs to be an ordinance, if it needs to be put in the budget every year that we move that much.
There was,
Don't we have it on, in our minutes?
should be
Do
something.
you listen to me ever?
Should be.
I said I looked in the minutes, and I've sent emails out asking, can somebody pin down a number for me or help me find the number? And I get no answer back. So now I'm asking
Well, there
who.
wasn't an ordinance passed, but there
Okay.
was a vote taken that said that we were going to put in that amount. And I believe, I don't exactly recall the amount. I'd have to go back and look, but that doesn't mean that it can't change from year to year.
Right, And that's what I'm saying, I wish that, my
Okay,
desire now-
reminder.
yeah, my desire is next fiscal year to put that in.
It's probably before even you were here.
I think it's when I started coming to meetings.
Is that?
I think I remember that discussion. I've got it somewhere, I don't think I've got it here.
But I have not done any of those transfers this year, so you're right, depending, how much did you think, Don? You didn't think it was that much?
I thought it was always 6 and 10. Building is 10, park
Building
is
was
6.
10, park was
Is that-
5
5 or 6, that's what was right. The building was, I was thinking 10,000, but the building's 10,000.
Okay,
Mhm.
I think the park side. So I'll go back and look, 'cause I've got it somewhere.
I'd like to put them in if you guys, I wish you guys would work on that one.
But it has been a while, since we've, done anything in the park besides the basketball court.
Right.
The basketball court was laid
18
over
months.
a year and a half or 2 years, so if we could come up with another small project maybe for the park, another addition of something, that would be fantastic.
Mhm.
Why think about it? Discuss it. It's kinda hard to make plans if I don't know how much money there is, so.
So you haven't transferred any money into the park fund this year?
No. We've
So
been,
that's another 6,000.
there's probably another 6 going in, yes.
And then we're back up to around 10 grand. we have to come up
Exactly,
with for the park.
yeah.
Okay. Which is what I thought, about what I thought.
With,
Do we just,
what are your thoughts on a pavilion of sorts?
That would be my next inclination for something down there, a small pavilion, small shelter of some type.
Or any other, I mean, that's the one, I've had several people mention the pavilion. I think it's a good idea, unless we can think of something else to do with it. But if it's okay, we can, look into getting some estimates on a pavilion, concrete pad.
It just depends on the money.
All right, moving forward. So we've already taken care of this, the next one, Vicky,
Yeah,
correct?
I believe so. I'm comfortable moving in now.
What?
I'm comfortable moving that money, yes.
Discussion, possible action, transfer funds, so
That's taken care of too. Yep.
We'll be good there. Discussion, possible action, upcoming meetings, handle the COVID-19 requirements, plan on, alternate locations, for the remainder of the year, the first quarter. We're good with
we're good through January here for sure. And the other thing is I took a mini COVID class on the Attorney General's website, and I really think we should implement either a GoToMeeting or a Zoom call. It's the requirement would be that whoever, one person does have to still be in the facility that we have the actual meeting in to facilitate the Zoom call and the public that shows as public, but the board members and any other public that would like to sign up for the Zoom calls can do so via email, and they would still count as being present during the Zoom calls. And it could be Zoom, it could be GoToMeeting, it could be Citrix, it could be anything that works. I just think if we're going back to phase 3 now, who knows what's gonna happen after tomorrow. There is Wi-Fi here, there's Wi-Fi in the hall now. It is possible, it's just, it needs to be approved that we can do that, and there is some pre-leg work that will need to be done prior to the meetings. And so that, it can't be, well, an hour before the meeting, oh, Jen, I'm not coming to the meeting, Zoom me. I mean, it's gonna be, 48 hours, these are the people that are gonna be on Zoom, these are gonna be the people at the meeting, unless there's a sickness or something like that, but.
I think it's kind of all or nothing, right? I mean,
Right.
We either have meetings in person, or we have meetings via Zoom, via
Mhm.
GoToMeeting, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not one, or it's not a little bit of both.
Yeah, you could still come here, but we would also have a different device set up for the Zoom call for those that needed to call in,
And for the public.
and for the public that would like to come to the meetings but don't feel comfortable due to the COVID situation still going on. Oh, and the reason I have to bring it up is because with Zoom, to make it private so we don't get hacked and become, 1,000 people on a Zoom call making, rude gestures or anything. Zoom and GoToMeeting, there is a small fee of like $15 a quarter to facilitate that. So you have a private meeting versus, you can use free services, but those free services are subject to a hacker or a public domain that we could have 1,000 people from the world on our call, and that would be ridiculous. They're very easily hacked into without having some security features.
So not to give you more work, and I'll be more than happy to look into it as well, but is it possible for us to get pricing on
Yeah.
those certain things? So that maybe we can discuss it next meeting, if we're okay having it here till January.
Yeah,
I agree that we probably should have a plan B so that we don't get into the situation we were in the spring. But at least then we would have a little bit,
and
pricing.
I know Zoom for sure is $15 a quarter, and I'd be more than happy to share my Zoom for the next couple months because I've already paid for it, and I can do.
Whatever additional equipment would we need here?
Nothing. I could bring my laptop, and
We have a laptop.
we have the laptop for the village. But I know that one of the board members asked me a while back about it and was concerned because their iPad had gone down. I said, well, you can do Zoom and you can do GoToMeeting and Citrix from your phone. So as long as you have a smartphone, you can access it. There just needs to be a moderator so that it is, we keep the decorum of the meeting, so it's not everybody talking at once and that kind of thing. But I don't think any extra equipment would need to be bought at all. The only thing would be like if we wanted a subscription to Zoom, and I'll look at that the more secure things. GoToMeeting is going to be a lot more expensive than Zoom. Citrix is going to be more expensive than GoToMeeting, but I'll look it up.
Do we need to extend it past January? What are your guys' thoughts on that? The city let us have this for no charge. She just booked us for 3 months until we could have a meeting to discuss what we think they are. We could back them off if we went another 3 months just to have the dates. And then if things got better, then we can cancel them and no problem to them.
Yeah.
She just said try to be as advanced as we can because they may run into other places that want to utilize this building too.
They normally have Zumba here on Monday nights, but the other thing is we can't have more than 25 people here at a time. I said that shouldn't be a problem.
I would say you can go ahead and book it,
That's what I
because we
think.
can always, if
Yeah.
we're not paying for it, if we're not
Yeah, we're not
getting penalized, I would go ahead and book it now
till spring.
until spring. I would, whatever you guys think, but it's not gonna hurt to have it, and then we can make the decision on if we're gonna go online or what we're gonna do. I just don't think it's gonna go away anytime soon, so I think we're gonna have to figure something out, whether it's here or online.
So, we'll extend that out for another 3 months. You guys are gonna check in on these different options on Zoom and whatever. I hate the idea of a Zoom meeting, that gets, I don't like it.
It's not bad. It's not bad. It just takes getting used to.
But you wouldn't have to do the Zoom meeting.
You don't have to.
You could still come here. It's for those that are unable to come and or not healthy enough to come, or if there's ice or whatever. No, you don't have to do the Zoom meeting. It's not, you have to do it or you have to come. It's either or. It's an option to get more people involved, basically.
Okay. Anything else regarding that? Public comment? All right. Items for consideration and possible action for the next meeting. Other than what we've already discussed.
I think we've covered.
Anything? All right, we'll adjourn the meeting at 7:46. Next meeting will be December 7th, 2020, 7 p.m.
Okay, now I can send this out.